Welcome back to the Big Screen Boys podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus. But before we begin, if you guys can please be sure to smash the like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so we drop videos here every single week. So with that said, Cash, what are we reviewing today?
Today, we are reviewing Renfield, a Nick Cage movie.
I know.
It's always a big deal for us.
It's always a big deal.
Love Nick Cage. I love diving into that world, into the mind of the master.
Absolutely.
One of the greatest actors of any generation.
Yeah, and especially of ours. He is the most memorable. And let me tell you,
I don't know if he's our generation.
He's not.
We're going to take him. We're
going to take him.
Well, he's generational. You
Right.
know, every generation wants him. But yeah, Renfield, the newest vampire comedy horror film coming out of Universal Studios. Of course, they own Dracula.
They do.
Right?
I think so.
They do.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, a horror comedy, very violent. What did you think of Renfield? I have mixed feelings on this.
Okay. Yeah.
But one thing I did have.
Guys, we're going to need to restart because you moved just a little bit and now you're like white as a ghost. Sorry.
What's going
But
on? With
Okay,
you?
so then it's the camera's too close then. That's what it is.
Sorry, but I just didn't want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that fixed right away.
It's all right. We're only a minute 30 in.
You know, that's fine.
Sorry guys, I bear clawed it.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm like,
I feel bad.
I'm like, oh, you'll be
We were
next on
just
the
talking
chopping
about
block.
it. Just like, fuck.
They're gonna shit talk you, my guy.
I know. Sorry. Do you want me to stop the recording or just leave it?
Yeah, go.
We're only 2 minutes into the recording.
It's still picking up through the roadcaster.
Yeah. Cash, could you tap his screen to get it?
There we go. It's back now.
And now move a little bit, Mace. Like wiggle around.
That's fine.
Yeah, that looks way better.
Yeah, it's better.
I mean, we have the other camera in the shot, but
Oh, you do have the camera in the shot?
yeah.
How much of it's in the shot? Because I can always back this one up too.
I can move this over a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yep. Okay, that looks way better.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
And now Cash is a little bit washed out.
Okay, yeah. The cameras just need to be farther.
I think I
That's-
don't know why they're so close. Yeah.
I think it's just because the lights are pretty strong. Oh, my computer screen is away now. So you look fine like that, McKay?
Could you tilt it up just a tiny bit? His head's getting cut off.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that looks
There we
good.
go.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, I like it when
Sorry.
I can see the screen also.
Yeah.
You know? I want to see my ugly fucking mug.
Yeah, I want to see myself too.
Let's see what my... Oh yeah, flip your screen. Yeah. There you go.
It's going to take a second. You'll look washed out for like the first 2 seconds.
Yeah, just as it focuses.
There.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Is mine's is it off centered? Am I a little off centered?
Let me see.
Just scoot to your left.
This way a little bit. Okay, there we go.
That's good.
I'll just move my arm. It's probably better that I angle this way anyway. And my computer's not in your shot.
No, you're
No.
good.
The lighting's fine on me though. We don't need to turn that light down.
No, because it looks better now that the camera's backed up.
Okay, cool.
All right. Okay, you can start. Sorry.
No worries. Welcome back to the Big Screen Boys podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across me is the one and only Cash Kraus. But before we begin, if you guys can please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single week. So with that said, Cash, what are we reviewing today?
Well, today it is the newest Universal horror film, comedy horror film.
Yes, it is.
Renfield, a 2023 American comedy horror starring our guy, crazy ass Nick Cage.
Oh, we do love ourselves a good Nick Cage film.
And what a resurgence of a career he's having.
He really has. Now that the taxes are done, you know,
IRS films, we don't got to do them anymore. Now you can pick films that you want to do. And Nicolas Cage relies on a good script.
He does.
You have to have a good script, because he's going to bring it every day.
And hey, say what you will about this film, but he brings it as Dracula in this bad
and
boy.
you can tell he kind of goes off a little bit, does a weird Nick Cage shit, but they kind of reeled him back in because we've talked about it before. He's like a wild animal.
Yes.
You can point him in the direction, but you can't if you let him go loose. If you go loose, Nick Cage, it's gonna be a mess of a film. It's gonna be disgusting.
Right.
But if you got a Mandy situation where you reel him in, and then you have one scene where you let him go crazy, bathroom scene. Let him go nuts.
Best scene in the film.
Let him drink that day.
Yes, please.
Let him go
heavily. Let him come in so intoxicated.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
You're gonna second guess your decision.
Oh yeah, big time. But you got to wrangle him, and they do a great job in this one. I think of doing that. I've had kind of mixed feelings. This film isn't great, but it's a lot of fun. I had a good time at the theater.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm at with this film. Is it a film that is going to win an Oscar or anything like that? No. So I went into this with the expectation of ridiculous premise, comedy with over-the-top gore and action. Right. And for what it was, it met all my needs. I laughed throughout it. I thought Nicolas Cage stole the show. I thought there were so many scenes in this, Cash, where like those close-ups of him like decayed. He's like, "Boss, are you all right?"
That was great.
No, not. He's just like fried.
Or when he's fried. Yeah. But there's some great practical effects in it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of CGI blood, which sucks.
Like that was one thing I didn't like, and I knew what they were trying to go for, but I didn't like it because it was like so over the top CGI.
It's so CGI. Just use real blood though.
Yeah, I know.
Do what Quentin Tarantino does.
But they probably didn't have the budget for it.
A fucking what?
$65 million budget.
They had the budget, bro. It doesn't look. Making fake blood costs nothing. Okay, it's some Caro syrup and some red dye. It's not that much.
Well, we got to talk about this too because this is actually pretty sad. $65 million budget.
I know.
Do you know what it made opening weekend? It's sitting right now at 7.7 million.
Gosh, which sucks because I feel like it's gonna go the same route as, and like I said, not the greatest film. I feel like people should be going out and probably seeing it. It's pretty good. It's like I said, it's a fun time, but it's gonna go the route of D&D where like everyone loves it. It's gonna end up costing the studio money, which sucks.
It does.
What are people seeing right now? The fucking Mario
movie. It's at $500 million.
You can't even find tickets for that fucking movie.
It's crazy.
It is insane.
Well, and you know where I worked. And I'm not going to dox myself, but it's a
mediocre. That is a mediocre film. Everyone's saying it. Yeah. Except for audiences are just eating it up. It's got like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes audience score. But
which I do want to go and see it.
I do want to see it too.
I haven't seen it yet.
But I'm not going to fight a 12-year-old to go find a seat for it.
And you will have to.
And I have.
Yeah, well, if I know.
You know. That's why I'm not allowed around schools.
You're not. You're not. And Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah,
I will. Odd. I could. I could fight about 8 12-year-olds until I my arms start getting more. Right. That's when they overwhelm me.
It's the fatigue. A little bit more cardio, Cash. You'll be fine. You'll be able to take on 12-year-olds. You know what I'm saying?
It's not about me. Yeah, it's just about the wear. It
is the wear and tear on the body.
I can swing them all day. Right. But they get weak. They get noodled arms.
They're like zombies. They'll overwhelm you.
They know. 12-year-olds are like zombies. I've said that for a long time.
You have. Yeah. You've coined the phrase.
But yeah, anyways, you should be going to see this. It's definitely an opposite of Mario right now. It's rated R. It's definitely rated R. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Nicolas Cage steals the show.
Yes.
As usual, playing Dracula, which is a character that he loves and he's always wanted to play. It's not the Dracula role that probably he sought out to play. Yeah, exactly. But it's a great role.
It is a great role. And he got to play like the traditional Dracula for those scenes that were like the 1920s.
And those are my favorite scenes.
Yes.
when they do at the very beginning, they do a flashback because if you don't know the story, Renfield is Dracula's assistant.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
He's familiar.
Exactly. He was a real estate agent in the old movie, and then he tries to steal Dracula's house, and Dracula like seduces him. They never fuck, but what do we know? It's 1931. They couldn't show it. But yeah, so that's the story, and this is like 100 years after that, and now Renfield is just kind of worn out. And he lives forever. He's like 100 years old, and he doesn't want to find victims anymore. Right. He's starting to feel bad.
Of course, that guilty conscience after 100 years in serving a dark lord like Count Dracula would be exhausting.
So at the start of the movie, they have to like kind of tell you the story, if you're not up to date with your Gothic novels of the 18th century. So they go to flashbacks and they do the classic 1931 Universal, but it's Nicolas Cage and he looks great.
It is, yeah, and Nicolas Hoult too, yeah,
and Nicolas Hoult. But they reshoot like all the classic, and it looks great.
It does.
You got to think this movie, because Universal's going all in on Dracula this year for some reason. I have no idea, but they're big resurgence.
They have this, and then the Dementor, the last ship to Dementor.
Yeah,
that's also Universal Picture.
I'm really excited.
We're reacting to that, the trailer reaction. Check that out, guys, because it's going to be pretty.
Because that's an awesome premise. That's a really cool premise. But they're making a big push on Dracula.
Yeah, they are.
But it looks great. But yeah, so they do flashbacks, and those were probably my favorite scenes. I love those scenes. But it gave Nicolas Cage the opportunity to do like the classic Dracula, and then do his version of Dracula, which is very evil.
Oh, and it was definitely his version of Dracula. It was off the wall fun, honestly, this whole film. And there were a lot of really funny scenes. I thought Ben Schwartz did a really good job. It's that stereotypical role. I feel like him and Awkwafina kind of play the same roles every time.
Yeah. No, Ben Schwartz, I honestly didn't love him in this film. It's like I've seen that character so many times. I was like the character of like the shitty mob boss's son who ends up being the big bad guy. Right. It's just like kick-ass. But yeah, I've seen that done a lot of times now. And Ben Schwartz at this point is not bringing anything new to that. And of course, he ends up.
It's hard too, though. It's a pretty stereotypical character.
Yeah, but he's very Ben Schwartz in it.
Yeah,
very annoying. I mean, some of the writing is like, because they find him, he's running with pounds of cocaine. And he's throwing cocaine.
Okay, but
that's such a open and shut case. Like,
exactly. But those were the scenes that I actually found hilarious because it was it knew what it was in that aspect, where it was like so clearly all these cops were like on the books.
It did, but then it tried to be like a serious melodrama with the Awkwafina stuff, which I didn't love. Like she's seriously trying to lock away, and this guy is running around. I mean, get him on camera. Someone get him on camera. I mean, show a judge that. You can't argue that. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. You're throwing cocaine at cops as you're running away from them. So.
Well, and murdering people too. Yeah. In cold blood, right? Like the restaurant scene, right? Like literally going in, guns ablazing.
And like how, like this would be national news.
100%.
Not only that, but the FBI is like in the same building as the cops, and they have no power on this.
I know. But that was almost
like how powerful was his mob family? This is like 1930s mafia.
But for some reason, for me, it was just so outlandish that I actually just found it.
I wish it was more of that, and they skipped the melodrama of the cop stuff. But Awkwafina, she's all right. She's good.
Yeah.
There's one scene that I left out loud that probably wasn't supposed to be funny, but it's that scene after the bar scene. Well, Awkwafina, for some reason, she cannot act like out of breath. Like they do that full fight scene. For some reason, it's not in her wheelhouse to be like. Because they fight those guys off, right? And she's not heavy breathing or anything. She's like, all right, guys, line up.
I know. There was some serious continuity issues when it came to like cardio.
Is your adrenaline not absolutely
pumping? Well, and then
there's no way this happens all the time.
No. And then everyone at the restaurant too was like, can we stand now?
Yeah.
Everyone was just so passionate. Like this city is Gotham City times 100, dude. Like they see shootouts like
guys are getting their arm ripped off.
Crazy.
It's New Orleans.
With the serving platter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't see that.
No one cared.
No. They were
not making national news.
Desensitized. It appeared.
They didn't even make regular news.
No, it didn't.
Like the regular 8 o'clock news.
It's because they're on the books too.
Yeah.
Very powerful
this
crime
family is like the Gambino family in New Orleans. I mean, they are unbelievable. But yeah, I like that. Like I said, I thought Ben Schwartz was good. Nicolas Hoult, I also don't think he's great in action films. I mean, I don't. It looks kind of weird when he's trying to fight people. He's dorky, you know.
Yeah, he is.
But he's not. I've never seen him in an action film. He's in Mad Max, but he's not fighting people in Mad Max. He's a.
But I did enjoy Renfield's character.
I like the Renfield
quite a bit.
Like I said, my least favorite part of this film was probably the action scenes. I like the story. I like the comedy a lot. I like the practical effects of zombie Nick Cage.
But you know what? The practicality and the originality of severed arm nunchucks. We have never seen that in film, Cash, in all fairness. So that was kind of
another
cool.
thing.
That was kind of cool. Okay.
These
and
things would be
impaled both of those guys with the arm.
These numbs would be tethered. They would be like, these are the most durable arms of all time.
They really are.
Oh, they easily ripped off that guy. You would think these things would just be spraying. Yeah, but, arm nunchucks were pretty good. Pretty useful.
Yeah, they were.
And I liked it. They kind of combined like the old story of Renfield, I guess, in the movie in the 1931s. And he doesn't have any powers at all in the old ones. He's just kind of crazy, but he eats bugs because he thinks he gets a life force. And Dracula's, I think, is just fucking with him. He's like, yeah, keep eating those bugs.
Yeah, that's gonna help you.
But in this one, he actually gets
powers from it.
Yeah, which I also feel like he didn't even need. Like he could have been just a dorky kind of weak servant, you know.
Yeah.
But they had to force in the John Wick action because everything has to have John Wick action in it now.
Say, I mean, you're learning from the best, not executing the same way John Wick would, but they're giving it the college try.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
I did like the scenes too. The 12-step scenes I thought was hilarious. The end of the film.
Well, the Nicolas Cage, I love when when he goes in there and kills them.
Yeah,
it's brutal,
super brutal.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
And then at
those poor bastards.
The very end.
I liked that. I thought it was funny. Yeah.
And you know what? The writing was really good on the fact of like when Awkwafina gets picked up by Dracula. I didn't see this coming. She shoots the foot, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, what was that for? And even he was like, huh, what was that for?
Oh, I saw that coming.
And then the blood drips, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's actually pretty good. That's a good idea. But I love the end of this. It's so funny. So they do whatever. Spoiler, we all know this is gonna happen. But
it's not a movie you really need. Yeah, you can't really spoil
you know what's gonna happen.
You know what's gonna happen.
But Dracula, dies, and they take his blood. And I love the end of the film. He goes back, and all of them were alive, right? And for just a split second, I saw the big guy in the back before they made the big reveal, and I was like, "Didn't he die?" And then then it showed everyone, and I'm like, "Oh, I see what's going on here." And it was so funny at the end. The main counselor, he's like, "Thank you so much for bringing us back, even though." When you see the other side, you just don't
the horrors.
The darkness. Yeah, the horrors.
It's like we were gone for so long. He's like, we all share that now.
Yeah, we all share that. Yeah, we do. As if their lives were already bad and now they're far worse.
And at the very end, they're like, all right, let's wrap it up. Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah,
it is.
I like that. There's one joke that I loved. It's because it's like Dracula always has to be invited in. And he goes to Nicolas Holt's apartment, and the welcome mat just says, welcome, come on in. And he looks at it and goes, okay, he just walks right in.
Yeah, he's like, oh, shit.
That was such a simple joke, but very.
It was effective. It was funny.
Very. And then the 12-step guy, where he's like, come on in.
Well, do it with the cane. He's like, no.
Very menacing.
It is. It was.
And some drip. Dracula's got some drip. And it's just Nicolas Cage coming where he dresses like that all the time.
Of course.
Eight-piece suits.
Something very interesting, though. Two different scenarios that I noticed. Okay. When we watched the trailer, the Catholic Church line was hilarious. The most trusted institution. The Catholic Church wasn't in the film. And then the drip with like the cape, he was like, I'd wear this motherfucker. Like when he's talking about Dracula's cape. That was also not in the film.
That's weird, yeah. Because they definitely unfortunately showed almost all the best parts in the trailer, which sucked. I hated that. All like the one-liners and everything were showed in the trailer. But yeah, I totally forgot about that. The cape part. I really like I don't know why this made me think of it, but I like the Patchy Joe. It's the very start where like he hires the hitman.
Yeah.
He's like, you tell him his name's offensive. But that guy was crazy.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was.
That guy was wild.
Yeah, that was actually a good assassin.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Didn't last long, but
unfortunately, he ran into the wrong guy.
He did.
But yeah, I like that scene a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like kind of the whole story that Renfield, was really, at the end of the day, piece of shit, he did a lot wrong. And I like that Dracula needed a certain kind of life force. He couldn't just need anyone. He wanted tourists and nuns and all this. He wanted
a busload of cheerleaders. And see, that was funny too, when he goes off a list of things he wants, nuns, cheerleaders, all that kind of stuff. And then Renfield's like, God, I just got to get out and have a night to myself. And he goes to the restaurant and it's nuns, tourists, a bus of cheerleaders, tourists. They're cheering. And he's like, oh my God.
What, a high schooler's coming to a bar?
As they're cheering as well. It was so funny. And those are those kind of whimsical over the top moments in comedy that I'm fine with because I knew what the film was.
Oh, that's what I wanted more of. If you're going to go that route,
go that route.
Go that route, absolutely. Yeah, do more of that for sure. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the set piece too. I like the old hospital that they end up staying in. He's got all the blood bags around him and stuff like that.
It got really dark for a second with all the dead bodies.
Yeah. I wanted it to be more scary for sure. Like even like lean into that because at first when this was first announced, I remember thinking I didn't know it was a comedy at all.
Yeah,
like I don't think they announced it originally as a comedy.
And remember that initial teaser was very subtle. You didn't know much about it.
So I'm like, oh, this looks awesome. And then I heard about comedy. I was like, oh no, I was very scared. But I have had a roller coaster of emotions with this film. But then look, most of the comedy did end up working for me.
Yeah,
but yeah, some of it was scary. But the set pieces were cool. $65 million as a budget though for this film.
What are you spending your money on?
I don't know.
I mean, you could have made this film for $20 million. Let's be honest. Especially with all the CGI blood, you didn't even use practical effects, which
CGI blood would cost you now.
I know, it cost you more.
Yeah, use fake blood on it.
Yeah,
that would have saved you money.
I didn't understand that, but overall, I love Nick Cage performance in this. I thought he was hilarious. I loved a lot of his monologues that he had. In this. And just his persona, literally throughout the whole film, I was the only one laughing at like scenes that weren't supposed to be funny. But like when you really appreciate Nicolas Cage and you know how serious he takes every single role.
He's delivering lines not intended to be delivered like that.
Yes.
And he's doing his own thing because every director talks about that, how some people have really bad experiences with him because he'll take over a set and just like he'd be like
do it his way.
Exactly. He'll come with his own preconception of like how he's going to do it and not be aligned with anyone else's. But for this one, he's found like a happy medium in his life now to where like he knows his persona. He's completely aware of what people think about Nicolas Cage.
And I do agree with that because he has found that happy medium because you can still see the brilliance of Nick Cage and all of its glory, but there is something where like you say, where they reel him back just enough.
He's a great dramatic actor. He's just crazy as a bat, and but he's able to reel that in these days. Thank God. But his best performances are when you can get him to go crazy and still get him to get a good dramatic performance,
Yeah.
But Pig, you can also work the opposite of that, where it's like you're waiting the entire time for him to be full Nicolas Cage, and it never comes.
Never
comes. Being awesome,
and it's brilliant too.
Yeah,
because you never get that.
Because now he's so self-aware, where he's like, "I know what you fuckers want.
I know what you want from me."
But he's not a monkey. He's not an animal.
No, he's not.
He's gonna do whatever he wants.
He's a professional actor.
Yes. But yeah. Even I agree 100% because I laugh at lines when he's delivering because he always delivers with a little extra flair.
Yeah, there's that flair about Nick that like he's a very rare specimen in acting.
He's one of a kind.
Where like it's subtle and it's only certain people that will laugh at a certain way that he delivers lines. But it's brilliant. It really is. That's why we love him.
Well, he's so. I mean, you either love him or you hate him. You either can't stand the guy, but you gotta just appreciate it.
Oh, I wish I could remember, but someone was like, "Man, why do you guys like Nick Cage so much?" And I'm like, "How do you not like Nick Cage?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "Okay."
He delivers so many memorable performances in everything, and there's not a bad Nick Cage film because every bad Nick Cage film you can get something out of. Yeah. There's bad films where you can make fun of it and have a good time, and that's Nick Cage films. And there's bad films where you just can't have a good time at all. You can't even make fun of it.
That's true.
It's so bad. It's the circle bad.
Yeah.
But Nicolas Cage films, no matter what, it could be the shittiest thing ever. He's going in there like it's going to be nominated for an Oscar.
I know. And that's the thing. That's why we really do appreciate him on this podcast because
we do.
He really does go for it every single time. Are they ever making that new National Treasure with him?
No, they're making it without him, I believe.
Oh, without him.
I think it's a TV series.
Oh, it's a TV series. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want him to go on and do his own thing.
Mhm.
I never liked the National Treasure movies, honestly, that much.
I think I was a kid when I saw National Treasure and I liked it quite a bit. But again, I was also 7.
Yeah, but I want him to do these original, work with up and coming directors and do crazy stuff that he's been doing. Do another Mandy, do another Pig. I want stuff like that.
that would be nice.
He doesn't need to work for a big studio anymore. I mean, working for Universal, that's the biggest one he's done in a long time. But
I know that's my biggest like sad moment in my life, which I didn't look like a meth head. So of course they weren't going to cast me in Pig. But God,
I know
when I saw Nick was attached to that and I auditioned for it, I was like, please let me work with Nicolas Cage. Please. He's an idol. Please. And it did not happen.
I can't even imagine. I think your brain would be melted
It'd
from
be
maybe
so much
standing
fun.
in the same room
I
as
know.
him. Like you
I
never
just
be
want to
the
know what
same.
he's like, on set and like
Exactly
that
this.
I know.
He walks in like
But espe-
Dracula.
Hello.
The giant can of top hat. And he's exactly like that.
I know.
Well, I've seen so many videos of him, like interviews and everything. That's how he is. He's a wild man.
Oh, wow. He's coming up. He's coming up with a film called Sympathy for the Devil. He's playing the passenger. Interesting. So he's got a lot of films in the works. The Retirement Plan with Ron Perlman. That's also coming out 2023.
Nice.
He's slated for a lot of big roles here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I want to see as much Nicolas Cage as possible. I'm not done with this guy.
I know.
He's like he's like one of those stars where people will go to the movies just to see Nicolas Cage.
Mhm.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter what it is. Although a lot of the time the movies were coming straight to DVD.
Powerful.
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy because like you look at his filmography. So let's go back when he was having those problems.
Look how many movies he's been in, dude.
So many movies.
He's been
He
in
would
over
do
100 movies.
6 or 7 films a year consistently.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just crazy.
And I remember when these films were coming out.
Half of them always direct to VOD.
Oh, like Redbox originals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember you would rent a movie, like a DVD, like another movie that came straight to DVD, and there'd be like 4 trailers for Nicolas Cage movies all coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty wild.
He was just going from stage to stage.
Yeah, set to set.
But
trying to
dude,
make
the
them
guy, he bought a bad T-Rex skull one time. He ended up spending like $100 million.
What are you gonna do?
And he had to give it back.
He did.
Stolen. You can't own dinosaur parts, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And he bought like a Superman #1, and like he was not good with his money.
Well, Cash, we're getting off on a tangent a little bit. Do we have anything else for Renfield?
No, I could talk about Nicolas Cage all.
So could I. We could
day.
do a Nicolas Cage podcast.
He is the best, and he's doing less films these days, which is good to hear.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which sounds like you wouldn't be a fan, but it's because he's doing better projects
Yeah,
in less
absolutely,
films. So
yeah.
it's a good thing for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's got Sympathy for Devil, Retirement Plan, Dream Scenario, Arcadian, Long Legs. These all sound like smaller films, which is great.
Yeah.
All right. I can't wait.
All righty. Well, that is our review for Renfield. If you guys like what you've seen here, please be sure to smash the like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notifications. We drop videos here every single week. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. And until next time.
Bye.